people generally tell you where they are in their headspace and in their understanding by the questions they ask you. And those who are still just hovering above the floor in level 1 will ask you the same questions. Is there a God? Because they're trying to drag the old paradigm, that which they were used to, into the new paradigm, because they want rules, laws, and regulations, which their old paradigm was full of, you see. That they want a reaffirmation. And I always tell them, I ask them, why do you ask me that? Because it doesn't matter what I believe. Belief can only be a personal thing if it's based on experience. And it's more important that the questioner answers that question for themselves. And the big scary thing is, well, what if there isn't? Or what if it's not the old guy in the sky, the big father figure, who's going to watch over me? And that's why you just can't wake up everybody. A lot of people will fall apart completely if you would enter the truth with them. Not everyone can break out of their conditioning. In a sense, it's all they know. It's the only reality they've ever known, even though it was fake. It's all they know. And if they haven't started waking up for themselves, and at least asked a few pertinent questions, then is it your job to wake them up? Or is it your fear of everything that makes you need to have people around you understanding and knowing what you know? Is that a group mentality breaking out in yourself? The world is going through massive changes, always has been. The culture has been turned upside down, not for the first time. Go back to Plato again, he talked about it 2,300 odd years ago. And most folk float through the changes as though it were quite normal. Even though there's chaos within their own lives and all around them, they still think it's normal, because they can't think for themselves. They only think what the media tells them to think, like Mr. Kissinger said. And he should certainly know. You can only get peace when you break through all of the old paradigm and don't fall for all the traps which are laid out for you to fall into, and always have been laid out for you to fall into when you're breaking free. Some people become hyper-neurotic because you see religion on the one, apart from dominating your life and regulating it and making you obedient, religion was there to tell you, don't worry, they're there, it'll be alright in the end. And you'll, after this whole terrible life, you'll live forever, and the bad guys get punished. And that's the only thing you can believe in, because everyone in every nation has seen the corrupt evildoers always benefiting in the system and their families. And so they gave you the hope or the reasoning that they get punished after death, you see. And you would take their word for it. That stopped you from doing anything about it in this life. You allowed the evil to flourish. Very clever technique. But once you take that away from someone, they're really floating then and grasping at everything. And because religion also told them, well, don't worry, you'll live forever in a new body or whatever, or spirit or yada, depends on which group you belong to. And a lot of people fall into a hyperneurosis. They become hypochondriacal, terrified of dying in this life. And they go out there and they fall immediately into the health traps, the health foods and all the pills that you can stuff your face full of, and exotic things from faraway countries that are supposed to cure everything under the sun. And then they fall into the New Age traps, which in the New Age and the health food industry go together. It's all part and parcel of the same new religion, you see, designed by the same boys who ran every other system. But they fall into this I can't die thing. I just don't want to die. I must keep living. And so if this grass here is better for me than the porridge oats I've been buying, then if I've stuck my face full of this expensive grass from overseas, or at the top of the Andes Mountains or somewhere, I'll live forever. And they become hypochondriacal and totally obsessed with health. And almost like religious fanatics with those around them who want to do the same as they do. And then they get into all the other New Age stuff that's out there, the feng shui, and energies are coming up, and oh my God, they're coming through the windows, and we deflect them all over the place, and all this bombardment by energies is going to finish them off unless they do all the right rituals, and they become bound, totally bound by a ritualistic thinking and behavior. Again, this is intentional. It was created from the top. Nothing would exist in this system. Nothing. Especially, nothing would definitely be promoted in this system unless it was authorized to be there. And yet, people will say, well, is there no hope? And I tell them, well, it depends how you view the outcome. And traditionally, in the West, because we've been taught groupthink all the time, and we've been taught nationhood and us against them, there's always a them somewhere. We've been taught that we all sort of go together in heavenly chariots, all together to the same place. And that's all nonsense. It's nonsense. Even in Christianity, I don't think the one they're founding or after ever said he came to save everybody. Broad was the way that led to damnation. Narrow was the way for the few to go. And there's a deeper truth there than people realize. And it's an eternal truth, you see. That wasn't the first time that had been written down. And in fact, most of the things in the New Testament were all said long before, over and over again, because there are eternal truths built in there as well. The journey that anyone is on is their own life experience, beginning to end. And it's not supposed to be a producer-consumer experience until you become, what they now term, again, the dehumanizing term, geriatric. It's like calling a baby a fetus. It dehumanizes it. And that's